we now have the ability to loop events in a very cool way. And actually, those of you that are Logic users, you're probably going to love this feature. So what I can do now is I can hover my mouse at the bottom kind of corner of this event here, and I can just drag. And it will loop whatever was there. In this case, it was just a 1-bar drum loop. Which is fine. But let's say, actually, what we really want to do is we want this to run all the way to the end marker of our song, because we want this drum groove to continue regardless. Now, what you used to have to do was just spam the D key on your computer keyboard, which is fine. It's one way to do it, but it's not very efficient because you could end up destroying your D key if you're doing this a lot in your productions. And so you don't want to do that. You don't want to waste the time doing that, and you don't want to get the wrist and finger RSI from doing that either. So what you can now do is you can right click the event and you can check this box here that says loop. So let's click that guy and notice that the event has extended all the way to the end marker. So not only can you do this with instrument tracks and events on instrument tracks, you can do this with audio as well. So if you know you've got a repeating pattern, for example, a shaker, and you've just recorded a 2-bar or a 4-bar shaker loop, and you want this to go all the way to the end of your song, you can do this without having to spam the D key or copy paste or any of that stuff anymore. So in the same way as we did for the instrument event, we're going to do the same with the audio event here. We're going to right click it and we are going to choose loop. And this audio event has now gone all the way to the end. Now, in this case, this is just a trumpet sample, which sounds like this. Now, in this case, I probably would not want that to go all the way through to the end because it would just be too repetitious for a trumpet part. However, something like a shaker or a conga pattern or a cowbell that you just want to run all the way through your song, this is really, really, really useful to be able to do. To be able to just set your start and end markers or within a loop, so it doesn't have to be within the start and end markers. You can just use the loop range, and if you've just got the loop range set to, I don't know, 16 bars, and you want to fill that 16 bars with a shaker or a cowbell or something, anything that your heart desires, but you want it repeated, then you can just check that loop box and it will loop between the start and end points of your loop range. Very, very powerful, very cool new method for looping that we now have in Studio One Pro 7.